good evening, everyone, and welcome. Oh, I'm excited. It's Monday night, and it's a night of the week that I always look forward to because I know I get to share it with you all. I get to share it with our guests. I get to share it with Mr. Amnon over here, our producer. Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing fine.
Good, good. Well, it's nice to have everybody here. I'm really excited about the kinds of shows that we strive to bring you. We want to always bring you the most inspiring, motivating, sometimes challenging, sometimes awe-inspiring, moving, freedom, breaking free, loving, full of color, full of charm, and all of the above, plus more. Because we want to break free, and it takes every little bit of that coming together and sharing and growing together to do that. So I'm really excited. I want to have a really interesting guest tonight who's got a big life, and we're going to squeeze it into an hour. So hold on. I have a quote that I want to start with, and it goes like this. The salvation of this human world lies nowhere else than in the human heart, in the human power to reflect, in human meekness, and in human responsibility. And it's written by Václav Havel. And that is very fitting for this evening and all that we're going to learn and take in. And my guest tonight has a very interesting background, interesting present, and I know for darn sure he's going to have an interesting future. And you're going to get to hear it first here, probably first for many of you. So my guest tonight is Kenji Saikasi. And Kenji came here to the United States as a refugee, similar to many from Laos in the 80s, and entering this new land with his parents with only $10 in their pockets. And now he's the proud owner of his own martial arts gym. It's called Royal Tiger Martial Arts, and it happens to be here in Raleigh, North Carolina. He has studied various forms of martial arts, but the very interesting thing about Kenji, he works with all kinds of people. He works with kids, he works with adults, a lot on self-esteem, on bullying, but he works on energy, of course, and we're going to talk about that because how do you do what he does if you're not listening to the energy? I mean, there's this thread that connects him to whatever. But the other thing is he is about social justice, and he has a big thing to say about trafficking. And he's making a movie, he's an actor, he's doing a lot of things. And it is with my great pleasure to introduce Kenji. Kenji, how are you doing?
How are you?
I'm good. It's so nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So before the show, you were just explaining a little bit about, because I said, well, how do you pronounce this? And how do you pronounce that? Because I want to make sure that I pronounce it right. And you said, actually, you're from Laos, but you're called Lao. So can you just explain that a little bit to us before we get really into it?
Well, Laos is the country, and there's a lot of ethnic groups that live in Laos. So a lot of Lao people that are, I know just in the United States, sometimes say they are Laotian, which the terminology is incorrect. We are Lao, because Laotian would be you're the whole entire country. And there are different groups of Laos descendant that live in there, so that term would be wrong. Mm-hmm. So I am Lao, I speak Lao, I eat Lao food, and so I am Lao.
You're Lao.
Yes.
So what's Lao food?
Well, I guess it would be very close to Thai. That's another story. Thailand has taken a lot of things from different countries in the Southeast Asia. So Thailand and Laos would be the two countries that are very similar as far as culture and language in Southeast Asia.
Okay. So you come here in the 80s at what age?
We were refugeed by a church in Cary in 1980.
Okay. And how did that happen? How did you connect with the church?
I think it's more like a lottery system.
Oh, wow.
Where, a family gets drawn to be over here because because of the social media, Facebook especially, I've been connected with a lot of Laos people across the whole world. And it's funny to see Laos people in Canada, in Russia, Europe. They're just all over because, we had to leave Laos, the ones that decided to, and stayed in refugee camp. So every family was moved. I guess, like I said, depends on. It was a lottery system.
To come to Cary, North Carolina.
Yes. So we didn't really have a choice. It was just randomly picked.
So what was it like living there before you came here?
Well, I know, the stories that my mother told me. It's a refugee camp. It's like you might as well say concentration camp. You bombard in, you can't leave. There's armed guards. So you're not in your own country. So you're living in a place where there's, a lot of illegal things happening. I'm sure there's rape and murder. So it's leaving a country where you don't know if you're going to survive or not, going to another country, it's a challenge, especially for my parents. I believe they're in their 30s, so it would be hard to just pack up and leave.
Sure. And you were how old back then?
I left Laos with my mother about 3.5. And then we stayed in a refugee camp about 1.5 years.
So you come here, and you come to Cary, North Carolina, and then how did you find yourself starting a martial arts school?
Well, coming here was very difficult on my own because we didn't have any other family members. I know I talked to a lot of people that are Laos, and they have a big family, so they have other people to turn to and get support. We didn't, so that's another thing about my language too, that my Lao is broken. I understand, but to speak it, I didn't hang around with a lot of Lao people growing up. So going to school was a very difficult thing, dealing with bullying, getting picked on, all the way to high school. So. And
you were being picked on for what? What reason?
Oh, you name it. I mean, I was the only Asian boy in the whole school. So it was either me or the other Asian boy with the glasses, and then the Asian girl. So it wasn't until middle school where I guess I found myself, as far as realized my potential and my strength. So luckily, I was a very athletic kid growing up.
So when you say you found your stuff, what does that mean?
Well, there was an incident in middle school where I had an 8th grader stood up for me because I was being picked on during lunchtime. And from that day forward, being a 6th grader, within the next couple weeks, I was hanging out with 8th graders. So you can imagine a 6th grader having an 8th grade girlfriend is pretty confidence building, wouldn't you say?
I would say absolutely. I would say got yourself a gift.
Yeah, so I end up, hanging out with upper class. And it was my physical traits, obviously, that, really helped me out because I was always working out or, doing something active. And I was training martial arts with friends. My parents couldn't afford to take me to enroll me into martial arts, so I would train with my friends, in the neighborhood.
And so you found it from inside? When you say you found your stuff,
I believe so. I mean, I believe that I I think it's also the upbringing from my parents. The strength that they had to endure a new culture made me a stronger person. And I see, the things that happened to me, being picked on and all that. That experience itself, I guess, made me realize, that has to stop. So I enrolled into playing football. That's another thing that led to me physical and building my confidence. So school activities, being able to relate to other students and classmates, being open, being accepted. So, that's one of the things that's very important that I see, in children. If they're so shy, they're so sheltered, then it's hard to do anything. So that shyness, I was no longer anymore.
So you were shy. So I want to understand this for a minute. So you were shy, and somebody came to you were being picked on, bullied. Somebody came to protect you. Was it the girl, or was it somebody else?
It was a guy. It was another 8th grade.
And what made him do that, do you think?
I guess just like what I do now. It should be, someone should stand up for other people.
Okay. So this guy made a big difference. In that moment to stand up for you.
Yes. So I share that in my movie. So I actually have that scene in the movie I'm producing.
Okay. So so I'm going to get to that movie in just a minute. So somebody stood up for you, and that gave you some confidence to then start going after, doing sports and things like that. Like, what is it that really inspired you? I mean, when you feel bad about yourself, or you don't feel accepted or wanted, it's hard to even try out for a team. I mean, what is it what is the bridge that allowed you to do that?
I think for me, it's when he gave me that confidence of realizing, hey, I'm someone special, or I shouldn't be picked on, and then made me realize the physical abilities that I can do. I mean, in the 8th grade, I was probably the top 3 fastest runners in the school, and this was natural physical abilities. My strength, I was probably like the strongest. Well, being a 6th grader, I was arm wrestling 8th graders and beating everybody. So physical attributes, especially a male or a boy, plays a big role. Because if you're strong physically, at first, that definitely helps you with your confidence. But if you're strong mentally, you're definitely strong everywhere else.
Right, because not everybody has that strong athletic ability.
Right. But you can gain confidence.
You can gain confidence regardless.
That's right. It's all up to if you want it, and if you have the right teacher, and the right purpose.
So tell me what you teach along those lines.
I teach mixed martial arts.
Okay.
I've learned so many different forms of martial arts, from taekwondo, karate, judo, jiu-jitsu, kung fu, Wing Chun, Muay Thai, Muay Lao. I do weapons training. I've trained the military, the police department. I train preschool kids from 3.5 years old, to men that can break down doors, to break down a drug bust.
So tell me something. What is at the core of what you teach?
Well, that's hard to say, because there's different levels of training. You can't teach a child the same thing what you can teach an adult. And my thing about what I see now in a lot of traditional schools is, they have a family class, and you can't really have an adult and a child in the same class because one of the two will not get the true martial arts curriculum or learn what they need to learn.
So, but isn't there something at the an emotional something or a mental something that is at the core behind what you teach?
I guess if there was a core, I would say that now I would like to show the world or people that are interested in martial arts that you have to be open-minded, because if you're not, a lot of schools that I see around here, not just around here, anywhere, they're not teaching anything that's practical, and they claim to. And so what happens is you're teaching a self-defense course. It doesn't matter child or adult, and you're teaching these techniques to them which are going to actually be bad to them because they're giving false hope. There's a lot of instructors out there that's never experienced a real fight or train to be in a real life situation.
Are you so you're I mean, a lot of the kids that come to your school are kids who want to protect themselves.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why people join martial arts.
Okay.
For kids, it could be confidence building, a new hobby, fitness, discipline. Some parents want discipline and structure. Those two are very important because of the way martial arts lesson plan is designed. So there's structure, discipline, which is the great benefit with the self-defense and the physical attributes, for physical fitness.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I know that, and you said you see little kids. So what would be something that you would say to a little kid to get him started in taking martial arts? What's something that you would try to get across to a little kid?
Well, little kids are very easy to impress, so I can just go boom, 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 and they're like, so it's, or even just put on a uniform and wear my black belt, and all I have to say is, would you like to get a black belt? So they're like, well, you have to earn that, so kids are easy to impress. They already think it's cool to be a martial artist. So
is it being able to fight gives the confidence, knowing that you can do it? Is that helpful to a child, to an adult, knowing that you can do this? Is that what gives it to you?
That is one element, of course. Being able to know that you could have a chance. That doesn't mean 100% you're going to be able to defend yourself, but the thing is, knowing that you have a chance if something was to happen, I have a chance to do something about it.
Mm-hmm. So are you seeing a lot of kids that have been bullied or being bullied or are bullies?
I've seen it all. I mean, see, that's the thing that I think separates me with a lot of people is that I walk the walk. I was bullied since when I first stepped on the grounds of the United States. You have a lot of instructors, that's never been even in a real fight. So how could you, again, fighting, I fought in middle school and high school all the time. Locker room fights. I mean, I had guys that want to test me. But, just the bullying aspects of anything. To me, what I see is people that try to teach certain things that never experienced it, it's hard to teach. It's like teaching textbook, being a textbook instructor
mm-hmm.
versus a real life instructor.
So talk to me about, I know that you have done a lot of like motivational speaking. What is it that, we have a caller. Hold on just a second. Hello.
Okay.
Good evening, Maryland. Hi, Master Seikosi. Hi, Amnon. Hi, everybody out there. This is Chris Reinhardt. How is everybody?
Everyone's good. How are you?
Oh, we're doing good. I'm here with my kids, Ben and Mimi. Do you
Hello.
remember we just spent some time with you on Thursday?
Yes.
We thought we would call in and share our experience. First-time martial artists, and my son Ben, who you met, he would like to start out first. So
Okay.
I'm going to put him on the line if that's okay. He would very much like to talk about what he saw and what his impressions were of you, and
Great.
where he'd like to go with it. So I'm going to put him on the line right now.
All right.
Hi.
Hey, Ben.
Hello.
Hi.
What did you want to say tonight, Ben?
Well, I wanted to state that I think that Mimi has a very, very big potential for martial arts.
Good. Mimi, meaning your sister, right?
Mhm.
And why do you say that?
Well, the way she did, I think she has a big potential for kicking, though.
And that's cool. That's from what you saw, right?
Mhm.
Cool. And then she didn't like it to begin with, did she?
Nope.
But she got
then-
to like it?
Yeah, when she started doing the kicks,
Uh-huh.
then she started to cool off and started wanting to do it.
So Ben, it seems that when she didn't like it, she didn't like it. But as soon as she saw her strength, she started to like it better, huh?
Yes.
That made a big difference, right?
Mhm.
Terrific. Well, thank you, Ben, for sharing.
Welcome.
All right, bye.
Bye. Go let Mimi on.
Mimi, are you there? Oh, okay. Oh, he said bye? Oh, I didn't hear that. I thought she was putting Mimi on. Okay, well, if she does, I just want to tell everybody out there that she actually is she's a little kid, and she did not like initially going in to take martial arts. But after, why don't you tell the story? You were there, not me.
Well, I mean, to be honest, too, sometimes it is not for everyone, and but I think at the same time it could be for everyone. So martial arts is like a way of life. You don't have to take it to where you're going to be an extreme fighter or, extreme hobby. So she did very well, but I think, like she was very shy, and for a girl especially. And I think...
So what did you do to break the shyness?
Well, sometimes it could take two lessons, 3 lessons, or it can even take a month.
Right.
So it all depends on the child. So I'm myself was almost like a psychiatrist too. I've dealt with so many personalities and children and adults. So
Well, I think Mimi's on. Mimi, you there?
Yes, she's right here.
Okay.
I wanted to put her back on, because here she is.
Okay, Mimi, hey. Hello?
I'm on.
Okay.
Hi.
So why don't you tell us real quick what happened when you went to take the class, and what did you realize?
Well, it was, like in the beginning, I kind of felt scared. I was not really used to it. I didn't really expect this much of stuff. It was really a new area to me, and when I actually, when I got in and I started getting kind of used to it, and then at the end I met, because I had started doing it, they had a position that I need to put them in, didn't feel that comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Then I spoke up after it, and after I spoke up, it was really good, and it happened that when I spoke up, it really did get my way that much.
Mm-hmm. So Mimi, let me ask you a question. Did it make a difference to you to take this class?
It did kind of, but it was kind of like in the middle when I got used to it.
You got used to it, and that was after the first time, right?
Yeah, but the first session of it, it started getting more. I started getting a little confident in myself, and and then at the end, it really started to get very good because it was so much confidence that I really do it so well that I did get confident in myself, and I knew I could do it, and I could go through the rest of the time.
Wow. And you're how old, Mimi? Mimi, how old are you?
What? I'm 6.
You're 6. So that's amazing that you would take the first class and get so confident right away. And confidence is important to you, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because when I get used to it, when I get the more attracting of it, gets more used to my mind, and then I start getting confident. Now what happens?
Good for you.
You
You're
need
taking
to get confident.
Right, and you're taking this to get confidence, right?
It's really easy.
Good.
For me.
Good. Well, Mimi, thank you for calling, okay?
Bye.
Bye, honey. Thank you. So that's pretty cool that she took it the first time, and because confidence is important to her. I mean, that's one of the reasons she was taking that class, and so she came away with, she came away with confidence. So that's a great thing. So now I know that you work with energy, right? Could you just flip a little bit and let's talk about this thing about energy? Because you can actually snap a tree, right?
Are you talking about physical energy?
Well, you can snap a tree. How do you do that?
I can break like 10 cinder blocks.
How do you do that?
Well, first of all, it's about when you break stuff like that, you have to have the right technique. Your body has to be conditioned, and you can't be afraid. That's pretty much, the 3 main things. So, technique, experience, physical power, and the heart.
The heart.
No fear.
No fear. So the heart replaces fear.
Yes.
What does fear do? What does fear do?
That's through experience, though.
Yeah.
Because knowledge alone is just a book. You have to have experience. You have to experience your knowledge.
Right, and that's pretty much in everything, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why martial arts is so great for anyone because it can relate to an everyday thing. So I have like some of the students are doctors and lawyers, and they're confident in taking martial arts that can relate to their everyday work as an individual.
Because it's different to think something, to think a feeling, I often say, as opposed to experiencing it. It's one thing to think you know something or to know it in your head, but it's another thing to really be living it.
Right.
Right?
Yes, for sure.
For sure. And what does fear do when you're going to, what does fear do? Using the blocks as an example. No heart, but fear. What does that make you do? Or what does that cause you to do or not do?
Fear is in martial arts fear, or fear is in just in general?
Well, in martial arts, or breaking the blocks, or anything. What is the issue that we have with the fear? What does that cause us not to do or do that gets in the way, based on what you know?
Well, fear is definitely a state of mind of unknowing. When you haven't experienced something, you will act. Your body would take over. So some people might react and be scared. Some people might be energized. So, but sometimes fear is good because that will teach you or let you know that, hey, this is something unusual, so I either have to get better at it or learn about it.
Gotcha. I also want to just say, if anybody's out there and you want to call in, you have a question, you have an experience you'd like to share, call us at 919-518-9773, or you can always Skype us at computers2, that's the number 2, K voice. And let's see, there's a question here from Stephen G. And he says, I think it's great that you teach law enforcement. How long are the classes for police, and what can you teach that's different from what they learned in academy?
In the academy, they get very basic training. You know, I hear from 3 weeks to, well, even if they took a 6 months course, they're going to forget it when they get back on the field. So, unless they want to maintain the knowledge, they have to go out and find a martial arts school or continue their training. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, each style of martial arts is different. And you have to understand the certain style of martial arts, what can you do and what can you not do on any given situation. So that's why it's so important to learn or to be a mixed martial artist, because that way you can adapt to different types of situations and scenarios.
And you teach all of it?
Yes.
So as far as energy, how does that affect the work that you do as in martial arts? Or do you teach energy in your school? Do you instruct on the power of energy, or how to use energy, how to manipulate energy?
I don't really, as far as energy, as far as like power, internal energy, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, I think I don't really have to talk about it. It's through the training itself.
Okay.
Because you have to exert a certain amount of energy to, execute certain techniques. So, to really just focus and lecture about energy itself, I don't really. But, because I never had to. It's just basically in the program itself that they experience the energy by training.
So now you're very much involved with creating a movie, and you talk out about trafficking. Is that right?
Yes, human trafficking.
Yes. So what is your message about that, and what's that all about?
Well, one of my actress, she was trafficked by her own agent when she was 19. So, at first, the human trafficking story was very small. But when I got the NBC 17 came in and did a interview with me, that made me realize I need to change my script and focus a little bit more or add more about human trafficking in my story, in the movie.
So the story is about what? Exactly.
The first part of the story, the whole story is kind of based on my life experience, how my family came to America, what I went through in middle school. I had some bullying scenes, and then I grew up and own a martial arts school and fight against the bad guys. So I had to have some action in there. Mm-hmm. So
why did you decide to create this movie?
Well, first off, one of my students graduated UNC, top of his class, as a film major. Lawrence Lee. He called me up last year and asked if I could help him. Well, he didn't ask if I could help. I knew he needed help, so I asked him if he needed me to help him with to finish his graduation project, which was a short film. And I spent about less than 2 weeks choreographing and getting a couple of my guys to help him with the film, and we shot it. And it was aired at Carolina Theaters in Chapel Hill. Mm-hmm. So I saw myself on a big screen for 3 minutes, which was pretty cool. And after the movie, the audience came and said, "Oh, you're that guy." So that was the bug. So I decided to go from there, and I've always wanted to be get involved with a movie. I mean, Bruce Lee opened the door to the action industry for martial artists. Mm-hmm. So if you're a martial artist, most likely you would, definitely would turn down a chance to make movies or be an actor.
Mm-hmm. So what else besides the movie? How involved are you with social justice or this whole notion of trafficking? I mean, how far are you taking it?
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of limited to what I can do. All I can do is produce a movie with some examples of human trafficking in my film, and have Jillian Morning. She's the girl that was trafficked. She's gonna be on Dr. Phil's show this summer. So, that's like the only thing I could do. My part is to.
What do you hope to accomplish by creating these movies?
Well, for me as a future actor, my goal is to hopefully, make it big time in Hollywood. So, and through my projects, I can share the light of bullying and human trafficking through the film, because now you can see a lot of Hollywood films. They really focus on these subjects.
Right.
And part 2 of Law Warrior, human trafficking would be the major topic of the movie.
Chris asked the question, do you have experience working with kids who have special needs?
I do, but it's it's very difficult to teach them. For them, it'd be more for just a physical coordination kind of training. So it all depends on how their special needs are. I mean, I've worked with Down syndrome kids. I've actually had one. He was with me for about 8 years. So the level of it all determines on what they can do.
So what is the most incredible situation you've been in as a teacher? Is there one relationship you had, or is there something that has occurred with a student that you're just so proud of?
There's a lot. There's a lot of stories. I mean, I've taught kids from they were in kindergarten, and some of them are professionals now. So I mean, I've been teaching since I was 18 years old, and I'll be 39 in a couple months. Mm-hmm. So,
well, is there any that you are interested in sharing?
I have one student in mind. His name is Denton, and he had a brain tumor in high school, and parents, they had no idea he had one until one day he finally collapsed, and they took him to get an MRI, and the doctor said he was very lucky, doing martial arts or physical activities. If he would have got kicked in the head the right way or the wrong way, he could have died. So the surgery went well. That was 2 years ago. So now he's in college in Wilmington, UNC Wilmington. So he was a student of mine from, I believe, the 4th grade, and now he will be a rising sophomore in college.
Great. I have a question here from, so what makes you feel the most free?
As in what? What do you mean?
Well, just in your own life, what makes you feel the best and the freest?
Well, there's a lot. I mean, I love life itself. I think because I am a mixed martial artist, I'm like open to a lot of things. I enjoy fishing, and then this new life of acting. So it's really has inspired me to pursue the acting field. So like with this movie, I am the director, the producer. I wrote the story. I wrote the script. I do the storyboard. So I have like probably 5 full-time jobs right now.
So you've led this kind of life, kind of like a storybook kind of life. I mean, you come here very young as a little boy with parents who struggled, I'm sure, based on what I've heard you say. So what does it feel like to you to know what your history was, to be able to now have this life? I mean, you seem to, you have a family, you have a business, you have this impending career to be an actor, writer, director. What's it like to be you?
Well, right now it's kind of overwhelming, and it's almost not. I guess I'm still on like cloud 9. It's not really. It hasn't really hit me, and I'm just doing what I'm doing every day, And I think probably when the movie's released, that day will probably be the day that's gonna affect me.
Why Why then, and not now? Do you think?
I guess it's because I'm just so busy. I don't have time to breathe.
Well, it seems like...
And it's just too much fun. I enjoy it. I have a lot of...
A lot of what?
Excuse me?
Hello? A lot of...
Hello?
Yeah. Can you hear us? Okay.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Yes, I mean, it sounds like your life is so full. And you have, such a history. So it must feel so extraordinary to be able to and coming from bullying, to be able to accomplish all these things and to be so cute and to have such a beautiful smile and to, like many people on the chat are saying, your face lights up. So what's it feel like to be creating this kind of a life for yourself?
I would say I'm blessed. I think the Lord has blessed me and my family, because there was a lot of situations where I could have died, coming to America, and then throughout my life, I believe, I've been blessed to have all these people around me to make this happen, and I know through my work and my networking, because of as a martial artist, it's has definitely helped me be and who I am today.
Let me ask you something. What about your parents? What do they think about what you've accomplished?
Well, that's another culture thing. I mean, I've struggled. See, that's even too that my parents actually never supported me with martial arts. It's almost of a culture thing too, and it's so funny that martial arts is not. I guess it's because it died because of the Vietnam War, so the martial artists were very few, so it was not as an important thing for our culture. And so I struggled with them about martial arts. They don't look at they wanted me to be like a doctor, lawyer, engineer. That was their plan for me.
And how do they feel now?
I guess they see a little accomplishment, but they just don't understand the life of the different works or different type of jobs They look at 9 to 5, you know, so they're still kind of, would you say, closed-minded in, you know, in living.
So explain a little bit about that culture to us so we can get a taste of it.
Well, just say when I grew up, going to hanging out, going to the bowling alley or to the movies, things like that, that was like, oh my God, you know, don't go there. You're going to get killed or, you know, something's going to happen. Because, you know, in our country, that time, there's no hanging out. There's no bowling alley. There's no movies. I'm going over to have a sleepover, you know, so the culture shock I had to deal with my parents was, you know, was crazy. You know, we were constantly fighting about, you know, things like that. So, yeah, so I had to deal with my parents and I had to deal with society. So it is kind of ironic how I am today. You know, I guess some people would say they would probably been, I don't know, a nutcase or something.
Well, yeah, you know, it is very interesting because, you know, on one side you're being bullied, and your self-esteem wasn't so great. You know, it's on the verge of getting squished, and then you have your parents on the other side, fearful for your life anyway. So here you are in the middle, you know, getting it from both sides, but somehow you found a way to break free.
Yeah, I think it's still the love. My parents still love me no matter what, you know, so I knew, you know, understanding the love is still there because they were constantly on me about, you know, doing the right thing, being good, being respectful, you know, so those things really cemented, you know, into my way of being, you know.
Right, so regardless, love, I mean, they gave you love, and that was supportive. So no matter what we do, the love is what keeps us going, and the love is what keeps us growing, and the love is what keeps us accomplishing and allowing us to be strong. Right.
We all live different lives, and, you know, everybody doesn't see what we see or what you do. So love is a whole different, I guess, part of life, you know, so, you know, just like people that don't agree with certain things doesn't mean that, you know, you hate them, you know, so we all have different opinions, and as long as it doesn't hurt anyone, I think everybody should have their own, you know, way of life, as long as we respect and love each other.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing, isn't it?
That's right.
So we have a question on the chat that, did you speak English when you came to the United States?
Hello. That's about it.
That's about it. And how did you learn English?
Well, you know, kids pick up a lot faster, you know. But see, that's another difficult thing I had to deal with too, learning English, because when I came home, my parents would speak to me in Lao. So for first grade, for kindergarten, I did have an ESL teacher when I lived in Cary, but then when we moved to Nightdale, you know, everything was on my own. I remember it wasn't until the 4th grade that I finally spoke up in class. You know,
that was big.
Yeah, I remember my teacher, you know, so she was, I'm actually trying to find her right now, because she really was an impact in my life.
In what way? What did she do?
She just went out her way. I remember she took me out to the ball game, you know, because my parents, remember the culture thing, you know, they just went to work, came home, and that's pretty much it. You know, there's no social gathering, you know, there's nothing of that until later on, until I was older, high schoolish. But elementary, you know, they're afraid of being in America, you know. Everybody speaks English. That's an alien language to them, you know. So
she filled in. She did some great things. What was her name? You never know. She could be listening.
Miss DePally.
Miss Pally?
DePally.
DePally. All right, Miss DePally. If anybody knows her out there, she's not teaching anymore?
No. So
was that in Nightdale?
Nightdale, yep. Nightdale Elementary School. But I even went there and they can't trace her back, because that was when I was in 4th grade.
Can you spell that? Somebody wants to know.
Capital D-E and capital P. I don't exactly remember how to spell
Pally. Okay, fabulous. So it does take sometimes, kids are so fortunate, or somebody is so fortunate to have just one helping hand, one person to lend a finger, one person to show you the way. And that makes such a difference, isn't it?
I had that in middle school too, Mr. Barfield. That was my football coach. So, yeah, and I think as a martial artist, from what I've, experienced myself, if, you at least have that sincerity towards not only your student, but individual, even strangers. Mm-hmm. Society has gone to where everybody just is for themselves, just like in self-defense. If, they did a special on if a person was being mugged, would someone intervene? And what happens is a lot of people won't, because they're afraid they'll get sued or they get hurt themselves.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, that's the problem. That's why a lot of kids become stand-byers.
Yes, that's right.
And that's just as bad.
Yeah, because if a bully picks on, a group of people and you just stand by, whereas if 5 guys would team up against one bully, then he's not going to pick on you anymore.
Well, exactly. And you saw that happen, didn't you? Your personal experience.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my personal experience and, in high school, then I started taking up for other guys or
Did you?
Other people.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's perfect, isn't it? You did the perfect thing.
Yeah,
you paid it forward.
Yeah, I say now, I bully the bullies.
Uh-huh. So how did you start your own business?
I was at a martial arts school, and I joined a taekwondo school for a while, and I decided to, from there I realized, hey, this is really something I enjoy doing and I'm pretty good at, so I decided to open my own school.
Mm-hmm. And how many locations do you have?
I just have one.
I wouldn't say just, I'd say yay! Because you've been around how many years?
About 12 years.
Wow, good for you.
But, yeah.
Well, any business that can stay in business for 12 years is doing good. So you want to tell everybody where it is? Now, this is in Raleigh, North Carolina, but go ahead and tell everybody where it is.
Well, right now I'm in the process of getting a new location. Okay. So I should be signing the lease this week, so I don't want to say, where at.
Okay.
But it will be in Raleigh.
Where are you currently?
I'm at a church, Calvary Chapel, on Spring Forest Road.
Okay.
But all the information is on my website, RoyalTigerAcademy.com.
Okay.
The new address is on the website, so they can go there and see it.
Perfect. So we just have a few more moments. So what would be your closing message to everybody that's listening to you about self-esteem, confidence, children, bullying? What would be your message?
Oh my God, that's
it's big.
For another hour.
It's big.
I would say that as an individual adult, with confidence, and again, to gain confidence is through training, no matter what type of training it is. And we have to be open-minded to everything. I think a lot of people are so close-minded on certain things that it limits who they are. and to respect other people, because we all can learn from everyone. I can learn from you. You can learn from me, and never think you know everything. That's I think that's why I've progressed so much and so fast, that I constantly learn. Because if you think you know everything, then you will stay where you are. And with that type of attitude, everybody can see that, especially in the film industry, when you respect and understand everybody's position, everybody will respect you. As far as children goes, that's up to the adult. Adults are the ones that help the children grow. So it's up to them to expose them to the right people, the right type of activities that will help enrich their growth.
Terrific. And so you're gonna your next thing is the acting. Yeah, that's talking to you now, right?
What's that now?
That's talking to you. Acting, getting up on the stage. Acting is talking to you.
Not on stage, but on camera.
Camera.
I'm directing my movie right now, and pretty much that's the only way you can get yourself out there is to produce your own film. Because the film industry, the entertainment industry, is very, very hard to tap into.
So do you want to be like a Bruce Lee? You want to do martial arts on camera?
Yes, I do.
You do, huh? All right, so you saw it here first, or maybe second, but you're seeing Kenji here telling you that he's going to be a star, and we're going to be watching him. What, are you going to win an Academy Award? Is that in the stars for you?
Well, I'm more just not worried about any awards. I just want to represent the Lao people and do my best as a performer and represent martial artists and the style of martial arts that I've learned.
Perfect. So I want to thank you very, very much for being here and sharing your story with us. It's been enlightening, and I want to thank everybody out there for being with us tonight. And tune in Wednesday night for Julie Seibert's Reawaken Your Brilliance, great show, 9 o'clock. Then we have Amnon show Saturday morning, computers. I mean, anything you want to know about computers, technology, him and his buddies are the best. And then Sunday night, Carrie is doing her Carrie Psychic Cafe. You got to tune in. That's also phenomenal. Got a question about your health, about anything in your life. She's your lady, and she's on at 8. And Debbie Bruck, my favorite homeopath, Brilliant Debbie, is on Mondays at 11. And I know we have some new shows coming up too, right? They're coming. Watch our channel. And with that, I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. And Kenji, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. And everyone out there, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays 9 a.m. till noon. Carrie's Psychic Cafe with Carrie Silkowski, Sundays 8 till 9 p.m. Health In with Debbie Bruck, Mondays 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays 8 till 9 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.